So let us revise the topics. So in the previous class, we have described about the we have revised the unit one, first unit. So first unit consists of three subunits. First one is program structure in Java. So in that we have discussed the tokens in Java as well as command line arguments in Java. Tokens in Java and command line arguments in Java. Next one data types. We have described the data types as well as operators. So in the third part, control statements. Control statement, that means selection statement, iterative statements and jump statements. So the new construct is for each loop. So we have described the for each loop syntax and the purpose. So this is all about the unit one. Then we have discussed the virtual tool, which is developed by IIT Delhi. So we have seen the a demo on how to use that virtual tool. So has anyone practiced that? Anyone worked with this virtual tool? Okay, fine. So next one. So in today's class, we will revise the topics on unit 2 and unit 3. So in the tomorrow's class, we will practice the programs. For each topic, I can write the programs and execute the programs. So in the tomorrow's class, we have the practice session. So for all the topics, I will try to do the programs regarding the every topic. So tomorrow we'll practice, and then today's class we will complete the revision on unit 2 and unit 3. So unit 2 consists of two parts. First one is classes and objects. Second one is methods. Second unit consists of two parts. First one regarding classes and objects, and then methods. So these are the main features of object-oriented programming. So we can implement the each and every object-oriented programming concept in Java. So let us see the first and foremost object-oriented concept is classes and objects, and then methods. So first we will see the what do you mean by class and what do you mean by class? How do you declare a class? What is the syntax for it? So let us check all these things and then we move on to the methods. So in the classes and objects, we have introduction, class declaration and modifiers, class members, declaration of class objects, assign one class to other. So like that we have so many things. Let us discuss briefly regarding this. So it takes so much time. So let us check the syntax of class. What do you mean by class? Class is a blueprint. That means to make the object oriented principles, we need a class. That means to perform encapsulation, we need a class. So here everything is based upon class only. So every logic or every code, whatever you write, it must be included within the class. So simply we have two types of classes. First one, top level class, and then nested class. We have two types of classes. Either it may be top level class, that means main class, only single class. Then it can be treated as top level class. So we have nested classes. That means the class consists of another class. So the class within the class. So those type of classes are called nested classes. So we have so many variations in the nested classes. This is one important question. Explain about the nested classes. So we have so many categorizations in the nested classes. So that we will see later. Then, so next one, he has given some types. So nested classes are divided into two types. First one, nested static class, nested non-static classes. So here static is a keyword. That means if you include the keyword static in the class, then it will be treated as nested static class. Non-static class means we don't use the static keyword. So what is the main purpose of using the static keyword? What is the main purpose of using the keyword static? So many times I have discussed about this. So accessing without an object. The main purpose is, so if you declare the class as static means we don't need any object to access the members of the class. So if you want to, in general, if you want to access the class members, we need a object. So if you declare the class as static means the class members can be accessed without any object, without creation of any object. So without object also we can access the class members. So class members means either variables or methods. So variables or methods can be accessed without creating of the object. So that is the main advantage of using the keyword static. So if you use static means then it will be called as nested static class. So if you don't use static means nested non-static classes. So in nested non-static classes, we have subcategories. We will see this in the coming slides. Member inner class, local class, anonymous class. So we have broadly we have three types of nested classes: member inner class, local class, anonymous class. So we'll check these things later. This is also not needed. Next one, class modifiers, access specifiers. So we know the access specifiers: public, private, protected. So you know the features. So many times I have explained. Private means only the class member can access that. Public means uh, any class in any package can access. Protected means uh, the class is accessible to others member outside the class as well as by the classes derived from the outer class. So within that package, within the package and outside the package, the subclasses can be accessed by the access to the members by using, if you declare the variable or class as protected. Protected means, so within the package and with outside the package also the members are accessible whenever the subclass is present in the within the class, within the package or outside the package. So we have non-access modifiers also. So access modifiers, we have access modifiers as well as non-access modifiers. Access modifiers as well as non-access modifiers. So access modifiers means this is a restriction to access the members, that is access modifiers. So non-access modifier means these modifiers are not meant to restrict the access. For special purpose, it will be added in the class. That is final, abstract, strict FP. So these are the three keywords. So first one, final. What is the purpose of final? If you declare the class as final means, so no subclass will be generated, no derived class will be, no subclass will be generated. So there is no concept of nested class when you declare the class as final. So abstract. So abstract means, so if you declare the class as abstract means, so the class consists of abstract methods. So abstract method means, so the method without any definition, the skeleton without any definition, only declaration will be there. So that type of methods are called abstract methods. So if you encounter any abstract method, we can specify the class as abstract. Before the class name, we can add these keywords. Next is strict FP. So strict FP is a keyword which is used to follow the strict rules on when you declare the variable as float or double. So when you declare the variable as float means 2.456. If you declare the variable as double means 33.89456. So when you execute the uh, Java program in different platforms, different environments, the precedence values will be differed. So to make it as strict in any environment, we can add this keyword strict FP. So after point we have precision value. After point only five points will be displayed. After point only 2 points will be displayed. So depending upon the platform you have used, it will be differed. So if you use any platform, same output will be displayed. So to achieve this, we will use the keyword strict FP. So these are the some modifiers you can use in the before the class. Class name. We can use the class identifier. So before the class, we can add either private, public, or protected, or we can add the final abstract strict FP or static. So likewise, we can add the so many things. Next one, types of variables. Simply we have two types of variables: non-static variables స్క్రీన్ షేర్ అవ్వలేదా? ఇప్పుడు స్క్రీన్ షేర్ అయిందా?
సార్ షేర్ అయింది.
మరి ఇప్పటిదాకా ఏమంటున్నారు? కనీసం అక్కడ స్క్రీన్ షేర్ అవుతున్నా కూడా చెప్పట్లా, కనపడకపోతుంటే. సర్లే కానివ్వండి. Types of variables. We have so many types of variables. First one, non-static variables, instance variables, local variables, class variables. So non-static variables means the variables are declared without using the keyword static. Non-static variables. Static keyword use చేయకపోతే non-static variables ఉంటాయి. Static keyword use చేస్తే static variables అంటాం. సో static keyword use చేస్తే దాని మీనింగ్ ఏంటి? ఆ వేరియబుల్ని ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకోకుండా యాక్సెస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. స్టాటిక్ ఇంట్ ఎక్స్ ఈక్వల్ టు 10 అంటే దాన్ని ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లేకుండానే యాక్సెస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సో ఇన్స్టెన్స్ వేరియబుల్ అంటే ద వేరియబుల్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ డిక్లేర్డ్ ఇన్ ద క్లాస్ బట్ అవుట్ సైడ్ ద మెథడ్. సో ఈ వేరియబుల్స్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా క్లాస్లోనే డిక్లేర్ చేస్తాం. ఏదైనా సరే క్లాస్లోనే డిక్లేర్ చేస్తాం. ఇన్స్టెన్స్ వేరియబుల్ అంటే ఆ వేరియబుల్స్ అనేవి క్లాస్లో డిక్లేర్ చేస్తాం, కానీ ఆ క్లాస్లో మెథడ్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఆ మెథడ్స్లో కాకుండా ఆ మెథడ్ బయట డిక్లేర్ చేస్తాం. అలా చేస్తే వాటిని ఇన్స్టెన్స్ వేరియబుల్స్ అంటాం. లోకల్ వేరియబుల్స్. సో లోకల్ వేరియబుల్స్ అంటే విత్ ఇన్ ద బ్లాక్. ఏదైనా సరే క్లాస్ తీసుకుంటే ఆ క్లాస్ బ్లాక్కి పెరాన్సిస్ యూస్ చేస్తాం. ఫ్లవర్ బ్రేసెస్. సో ఫ్లవర్ బ్రేసెస్ అంటే ఇది. ఫ్లవర్ బ్రేసెస్ అంటే ఇది, దీని బాడీ అంటాం. సో విత్ ఇన్ ద బ్లాక్, ఈ బ్లాక్ విత్ ఇన్ ద బ్లాక్ అంటే ఇది. ఏదైనా సరే ఒక బ్లాక్లో డిఫైన్ చేస్తే దాన్ని లోకల్ వేరియబుల్స్ అంటాం. సో క్లాస్ వేరియబుల్స్ అంటే క్లాస్లో డిక్లేర్ చేసిన వేరియబుల్స్, అలాగే స్టాటిక్ కీవర్డ్ యూస్ చేసిన వాటిని స్టాటిక్ క్లాస్ వేరియబుల్స్ అంటాం. సో మెయిన్గా ఏంటంటే ఇన్స్టెన్స్ వేరియబుల్స్, లోకల్ వేరియబుల్స్. మెయిన్గా 2 వేరియబుల్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఇన్స్టెన్స్ వేరియబుల్స్ అండ్ లోకల్ వేరియబుల్స్. సో ఇన్స్టెన్స్ వేరియబుల్స్ మీన్స్ ద వేరియబుల్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ డిక్లేర్డ్ విత్ ఇన్ ద క్లాస్ బట్ అవుట్ సైడ్ ద మెథడ్. Within the class but outside the method, that is called instance variables. Local variables means within the block, the variables are declared within the block. So these are instance variables and local variables. So next one, let us see. So these examples I will explain in tomorrow's class. I can write for each of the program. Let us explain the concept first, and then tomorrow's class I will write all the programs and I will execute. So let us check the definition, declaration, class declaration. So this is the syntax for declaration of any class. First one, class identifier, declaration of class objects. So I think there is declaration of class. So here some declaration of class is missed. I can write the syntax here. So declaration of class. How can you declare a class? Access modifier space class space identifier within the braces class members. So this is the syntax for declaration of the class. That means I can write one example. Access modifier. Access modifier means public space class is a keyword, then identifier. So class name student. So within that, this is the declaration of the class, public class student. Then within the class we have class members. Class members means either variable or method. Either variable or method. So this is the example of a class. This is the example of a class. So these are the members of the class. So these members has to be accessed. That means the x value is equal to 10. That has to be printed. Add method c is equal to a plus b. That has to be done. So that variables or that methods can be accessed by using these things are accessed by using the objects. We need the object. We need the object in order to access these things. So without the object, we cannot directly print the object, print the variables or methods. So unless until we declare the variable or method as static, we need an object. సో ఇక్కడ మనకి స్టాటిక్ అనే కీవర్డ్ యూస్ చేయలేదు కాబట్టి ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కావాలి. ఇక్కడ స్టాటిక్ యూస్ చేసాం, స్టాటిక్ ఇంట్ ఎక్స్, స్టాటిక్ యాడ్ ఇలా యూస్ చేస్తే మనకి ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అవసరం లేదు. ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లేకుండానే ప్రింట్ చేయొచ్చు. సో ఇది క్లాస్ సింటాక్స్. అలాగే ఆబ్జెక్ట్ సింటాక్స్ చూడండి. డిక్లరేషన్ ఆఫ్ క్లాస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, క్లాస్ ఐడెంటిఫైయర్, ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఐడెంటిఫైయర్. దట్ మీన్స్ క్లాస్ ఐడెంటిఫైయర్ మీన్స్ so we have to give the reference to the object. So we are creating the object for class. So we are creating the objects for a class. So we have to define the class. The object belongs to which class? We have to identify clearly the object belongs to which class. We have so many classes in a program. So we have to create the each object for each class. So let us see example. Let us define an object objx. So I am going to define an object objx. So we have to give the reference. Objx is the object name. So object name. I think this object belongs to which class? We have to do the class name. Class name student objx. Student objx. So this is the syntax for declaration of an object. So this is the syntax for declaration of an object. So to make the memory, so objx means we are going to accessing the either variables or methods. That means we need some memory. So the memory is created by using the new operator is equal to new student. So this is the syntax for declaration of an object. So without new also, the object will be created, but the compilation, while compiling, compilation error will come. So if you use the new keyword means, then the, dynamically the memory is allocated for the object x, objx. So objx, the memory is allocated. Suppose the memory is This is the memory. This is for variable x. This is for method add. Some memory will be added whenever you create the object by using the keyword new. So this is the syntax for creation of class as well as creation of object. So for creation of object, we use the new operator is equal to new student. So this is the basic syntax for classes as well as object. So like this. So here, check the one example. So here, form is a class name. My form is a object name is equal to new form. That means some memory will be allocated for the object my form, length and width. So the variables are length and width. You know the form example. So in this classes and objects, we have taken the form example. So form means we have length and width variables. So for length, some memory. For width, some memory is assigned. So this is the creation of object. So my form is an object of type form. So form is a class name. New is a operator. So form is a class, or we can call it as constructor. So this is the basic things regarding classes and objects. So these will be discussed next sessions. So access controls, already we have discussed public, private, protected. Next important concept is accessing the private members of a class. So how can you access the private members of a class? So that means, so if you declare the variable or method as private, means that can be accessed only within that method, within that class, within that class only. So outside the class, these members are not accessed, not visible to the outside the class. So how can you access the private members? Public protected means within that package. So outside the classes also can access these members. So if you declare the variables as private means, so how can we access? So let us check this one. Private. So I am declaring the variable length and width as private. Length and width as private. So here the class is form. So here another class is there from form exe3. Form exe3. So this class has to access the class members, but the class members are private. So private means the scope is within this block only. The scope is within this block only, within this class only. Within this class, we can access the length and width. So outside the class, these are not visible. So how can you access those things? So there is a method to access the private members. By using the public method, get method, we can access these privately declared variables or method. If you declare the area is a method. If you declare the private means we can access. So by using this one, get length, get width. So by using the publicly declared get length, get width, return length, return width. By using the public methods, we can access the private members. By using the public methods, we can access the private members. So here public methods are get methods. Get methods. So in the util package, we have some definitions, the set methods and get methods. So here by using the get methods, we can access the private members, get length, get width. So if the area is also declared as private means get area, same class member, either variable or method. So both can be accessed by using the public methods, public get method and public method, public get methods, either variables or class variables or methods. Both can be implemented by using the get method. So this is the very important. So private, how can you access the private members? So next one. So this is the private methods. Here he is accessing the private methods. That means area. Area is declared as private. That means this can be accessed by using the get area. By using the get area. So this one, get area, same get area, return area. So by using this get methods, we can access the private members, whether it is a variable or it is a method. So both private class members can be accessed by using the public get method. So this is the one important thing in classes and objects. So then constructor methods for class. So let us discuss what do you mean by a constructor. So constructor is a method which is used to initialize the objects. So constructor is a method which is used to initialize the object. So constructor has no return type. So constructor has no return type. So constructor have no return statements. So constructor name and class name are same. So if you encounter so here take an example, class form. So form is a class name. So if you are going to create a constructor means, so the constructor name is also form. Constructor name is also form. So they don't have any access specifier or anything before the constructor name. Simply class name. Within the braces, some arguments. Within the braces, some arguments and some assignments. So initially, from the main purpose is to initialize the variable. So here length and width are initialized, are not declared here. For initialization purpose, we can use the constructor. So length is assigned to L, width is W is assigned as width. Some initializations are done. So the main purpose of constructor is to initialize the variables. To initialize the variables, we can use the constructors. So the syntax is class name. So whatever the class name that can be there and parameters. So constructor is simply a method of class name. So this is the constructor. Then, so overloaded constructor. This will be come in the methods. So next one, member inner class. So we have said that we have two types of classes. First one, top level class. Second one is nested class. So in the nested class, we have three subcategories. First one, member inner class. Second one, anonymous class. Third one, local class. So we have three types of nested classes. First one, member inner class. So let us check the what is member inner class. So member inner class means let us check it this example. This is the one class outer. So this is the constructor. He has created the outer constructor. He is creating some method. Display outer is a method. Okay. He's creating an object. Okay. So this is the display method up to this display method. So the class is not closed here. See this. So the class is outer is open, but this is not closed here. The class is not closed yet. So here within this class outer, he is creating another class inner. The class within the class. So this is the inner class closed, outer class closed. So here the class is ended. Here the class is ended. So within the class, we have another class. And then we have the main class, main method, and creating the object and performing some actions. So this is the example of inner class. The class within the class. We can have the nested for loops, nested while loops, nested switch case like that. We have the nested classes. next one is uh, static nested classes. That means we can declare the class as static. That means uh, all the class members can be accessed by using the all the class members are accessed without creation of any object. That is the main purpose of static. So if you have static keyword means then we can call these classes as static nested classes. Next, final and methods. So final is a keyword. If you declare the class as final means it don't have any subclasses. So the class is final. The class is everything modifications, everything is done. The class is final for delivery. So that is the final class. Final keyword. Then abstract class. So this will be already discussed. Abstract class means the class which consists of abstract methods. So abstract methods unte dani abstract class antaru. Abstract methods ante oka skeleton method. Only declaration unte dani abstract method antaru. So ivi kuda next vastayi. So keyword this. So this is the keyword which is used to tell the compiler that. So let us see example, you can get it. So this is an example. This dot length equal to L. So it means we are referring the variable. We are referring the current variable. This dot length. This dot width equal to W. So we are referring the current method, current set size method. So to represent that, we can use the this keyword. So this is all about the classes and objects. Then we have the garbage collection. So garbage collection means if you declare the variable or objects, so there we need some memory space. So the memory space will be automatically deleted or free space. So if you don't use the variable means automatically the memory is occupied by another object. So that can be dynamically done in Java. So to perform that, we have so many methods. Finalize is the method which is used to perform the this task, freeing the memory. So that is called garbage collection. So this is all about the classes and objects. So let us move on to the methods. Let us check these methods. So method means we know that within the parentheses, so method means the method consists of a parenthesis. The method name is ended with the parenthesis. So we have the header and we have the body. So let us check the example. So this is the syntax for this. So example for method is modifier, return type, method identifier. That means modifier means either public or private, anything. Return type, either int or float. Method identifier, method name is student. And then parameter. Parameters are int a comma int b. So these are the parameters. And then we have this c is int c. Int c is equal to a plus b. So return c. So this is the method. So this is the syntax for simply a method. So the method consists of an access modifier, data type, not data type, return type, and then method name, and then parameter list, and then body of the method, and then return statement, and then return statement. So this is the basic syntax for creating the any method. Any method can be created by using this syntax. So this is the simple syntax for creation of a method. So method also has some access specifiers and non-access specifiers. So access specifiers means public, private, protected. So non-access specifier means So this keyword's purpose is not to restrict the access. So these are meant for other purposes. So each keyword has some special purpose. So here static, you know the static, final, native, transient, synchronized, volatile. So these are the keywords used along with the methods. So let us check the static, you know, final, you know, native. Native means it is used for the method. It indicates that the method is implemented in a platform dependent language. Suppose Java is a platform independent language. If you run the Java program in Windows or Linux or any other type of operating system, it can be print the same output. So there is a situations where we can implement the Java program in a platform dependent environment. So then also the outputs will be exactly same as general. Then we can use the keyword native. Next, transient. So transient means we can use the variables which are used in that method can be transient. That means no memory space is allocated for the transient variables. If you declare the method as transient means that the variables cannot use the memory. Next, synchronized. So synchronized is a keyword which is used in threads concepts. So threads, multi-threaded programming. So in that cases, we can use the keyword synchronized. Volatile. So volatiles also is a keyword which is used in the threads. It indicates the compiler that a variable can be modified by the other thread. So volatile means the way volatile, and that means changing of the nature. Changing of the nature. That means a variable value can be changed by the other program or other threads. So that we can indicate through the volatile keyword. So these are the some non-access modifiers used in the methods. Next, parameter list, return statement. These are all you know. Next, overloaded methods. So method overloading. Already previous classes discussed method overloading and method overriding. So overloading means method has the same name. Method has the same name. Same name but different signature. For example, suppose the method name is student. The method name is student. The parameter list is int a. So this is a method. So this is one method. So I am using the another method, student. Float b. Float b. So this is the method overloading. Why? Because here the method name is same. Method name is same, but the parameters are different. The return type, there is no return type here. Here there is a return type. So this type of implementations are called method overloading. Same class name, but different signature. Method overriding means class name same, parameter list also same, return type also same. Same exact name and exact parameters and exact return type. If you use, then it can be called as method overriding. So here the same thing is class name only, method name only same. Remaining things are different. That is method overloading. Method overriding means all the things are same. Method overloading means only class name is same. Remaining things are different. So here see the example. See compute is a method. These are the parameters. So this is the compute. Return type is same, but the parameter list is different. Here declare the int values. Here declare the double values. So this is called method overloading. Here see only single parameter is declared, but here it has two parameters. So this is also, we can call it as method overloading. Method overloading. Method name is same for all the cases, but in the method overriding, all the things are same. Return type is same. Method name is same. Parameter list also same. So that is method overriding. This is method overloading. Then constructor overloading. So same constructor overloading means constructor name is same. Here the constructor name is same. Constructor name is same. Constructor name is same. For constructors defined, constructor name is same, but the parameters are different. Double type. Here form class type. Here double M. Here no parameters. So 4 different types of parameters are passed here. For each case, constructor 1, constructor 2, constructor 3, constructor 4. So in the 4 cases, 4 different types of parameters are passed. So this is called constructor overloading. Next one. Access controls, public, private, protected, you know. Next, recursive methods. Recursive method means the method calls itself by number of methods. Recursion, you know the recursion, factorial of a number. So n factorial is equal to n into n minus 1 factorial into n minus 2 factorial. That means factorial is equal to fact of n equal to n into fact of n minus 1. That means same fact method will be repeated n number of times. So here the factorial is a method. So factorial is a method created, but the factorial is again called. So this is the function, the method calling itself by number of times. The function calls itself. Factorial is a function, it calls itself by number of times. It's called recursion. So factorial and Fibonacci series are examples for recursion. So you know the factorial and Fibonacci series. Nesting of methods, nested methods. That means the method consists of another method. That is called nesting of methods. Overriding methods, I have said the overriding methods. Then attribute final and static. So final and static, you know the difference between two keywords. So this is all about the methods. So this is not there in the syllabus up to keywords final and static. So this is all about the methods. Then what is the time now? So time అయిపోయింది. సో ఓకే. సో ఇది క్లాసెస్ గురించి, ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ గురించి. సో ఇది క్లాసెస్ గురించి, ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ గురించి. నెక్స్ట్ క్లాసెస్, ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్, మెథడ్స్ సెకండ్ యూనిట్ రివైజ్ చేశాను. మీకు ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే ఒకసారి చెక్ చేయండి, ఫస్ట్ యూనిట్ కానీ సెకండ్ యూనిట్ కానీ. సో రేపు థర్డ్ యూనిట్ చెప్తాను, అరేస్, ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ చెప్తాను. సో మండే ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేద్దాం. ప్రతి కాన్సెప్ట్కి ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. ప్రోగ్రామ్ నేనే రాసి ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. ఓకేనా? ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? సో ఓకే, ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి. ఏమైనా మీరు ప్రోగ్రామింగ్లో కానీ లేకపోతే థియరీలో కానీ ఏ కాన్సెప్ట్ అయినా అర్థం కాకపోతే మెసేజ్ చేయండి నాకు. సో వీలైతే టెక్స్ట్ బుక్స్ పర్చేస్ చేసుకోండి, 300 ఎంత ఉంది, తర్వాత అయినా యూజ్ అవుతుంది మీకు. లేదా టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ PDF పెట్టాను, అవైనా జిరాక్స్ తీసుకుని చదువుకోవచ్చు. సో ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి, ఇక ఏ కాన్సెప్ట్లో అయినా మళ్ళీ చెప్తాను. సో రేపు థర్డ్ యూనిట్ చెప్తాను. ఎల్లుండి మనకి ఎగ్జామ్స్కి ఎన్ని రోజులు ఉంటే అన్ని రోజులు ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేద్దాం. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.